I tried to record this video about 3 or 4 times at this stage, and I kind of never kind of stumbled a lot, and I kind of didn't want to really kind of edit it, to be totally honest, because it kind of made arsewaves basically. So what I said this before, and probably people have heard me saying it before. Particularly, this comes to drains. Obviously, drains along the side of the road, and obviously you can see at the moment there's a lot of water. There's a lot of water. There's a lot of water coming around because it's raining a lot. And there has been an almighty amount of water. Obviously, it's all and it's to be expected in the winter time, especially. But it's caused a lot of damage. It's caused a lot of flooding. Particularly, Typhoid Cavan hasn't been that bad. Some areas in Cavan have flooded a good bit. Particularly surface roads. Not really much damage, but down in Cork and things like that. Obviously, with the tide going up in the evening and things like that, it can cause damage in Cork, particularly because Cork is bad there with flooding when the tide goes up. But in many cases, in other places across the country, it's happened. In Louth and some parts of Louth too, it's happened. And there's a simple solution to help it out a bit. It's not going to solve all the problems, I will admit that. It's not going to solve all. But the localised flooding, particularly in some areas, rural roads and stuff like that, it will solve a lot of problems because there's loads of drains in each roads. Even in back country roads, there is drains on them. You might not think it, but there is some drains on them. There's not many, but there's some. And then on national roads and main roads and stuff like that, there is drains, but a lot of them, and I tell you, probably in Cavan alone, probably 50% of the drains in the county are probably covered with weeds, with rubble, with stuff that's preventing water to go into the drains, which is designed for. And as I said before, why would you have drains in the road when the water can't go into them? That's the main purpose of drains. They're not there for show and tell. And particularly, in many cases, I've seen one when I was up in Ballybor, around Ballybor one time, going out of the town of Ballybor. There's one literally with a tree nearly growing out of it along the side of the road, and I'm literally not joking. It's a bit of a truck kind of growing in the drain, and it's coming out the top. Now, obviously, I don't need to tell you that water would not go in there, so that's drain. Take for example, it's fully fucked. Let's put it that way, and you wouldn't get water in for out to high water. But what I'm trying to say is, and I said this before, every local authority should take this on board. And Eamon Ryan, straight away he goes to climate change and stuff like that. But it's very preventable, and so in a lot of cases it is preventable if the drains were working. They could drain the water away off the road and stuff like that. In some areas it's poorly designed, where the drains are in some hollows and stuff like that, and the water just ends up in the middle of the road because they can't go really anywhere else. It's very poorly designed in some areas, and with drain and gutters and things that are being clogged and stuff like that. But as I say, what we should do in every local authority, and I will say this, we should do it. Just to say before I go any further, years ago, I'm sure people remember the Celts even cleaning the drains and digging ditches. I even remember them digging ditches back in the day. Men in the ditch, literally digging ditches so the water could run into the ditch. Nowadays, it's not. Obviously, years ago, even when I was growing up, there had a lot more manpower. Like even taking Cavan alone, we could have had about nearly in the early 90s and the early 2000s, about 200 people walking in the local authority on the road, just specifically walking on the road. Now it's probably you only have about 50, at most 50, maybe 60, at most, that's been generous for the whole area. And obviously you need to deal with roadworks, you have to deal with signs, you have to deal with other things. And it's a lot for only about maybe 60 people at most. That's being generous, but compared to what it was years ago, where you had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of councilmen, which obviously you could cover a bigger area with more people, with more manpower, you can do a lot more. Basically, when you have only a few, you can do very little, and especially when it comes to such a range of stuff. So what I said before, they should contract people, well not contract, but it should be in the local authority, and it should be national by the government too, that every local authority has about 20 people, 20 dedicated people that they pay to work 40 hours a week to clean out drains all across the county on a local authority basis. So employed by the local authority in each county that will have 20, or in some cases more, just to go around and clean the drains and stuff like that, just to go around and make sure the drains are functioning and stuff like that. So they'll be dedicated. You need dedicated people just to focus on one thing, and that's the best thing to do. Just have a group of people focused on one issue instead of just kind of flurry them around here, there and everywhere. That's not going to work. So that would be the best thing in many cases, because I will say a lot of drains are just overclogged, and I will say that, and we're sure we've seen it in every local town wherever we are in Ireland. Not all drains are functioning, and they should be functioning to be totally honest, because that's the reason why they're there. And a lot of this flooding in local areas, local flooding now, and in some even cases of where there's bad flooding, they can help a bit in getting rid of some of the water into the drain. But obviously they can't do that when the drains are blocked. So that's what they should do. But obviously will they do it? Because the Green Party would just say it's climate change, and that'd be all to be said. Nobody would just say it's climate change and they won't go on about rains and stuff like that. It's a very easy fix to some problems, but it's about if there's a will to do it. That's the thing. If there's a will to do it, because it isn't an easy job. I cleaned the drain or two out in my time, in people's garden and stuff like that. It isn't the pleasant experience. It isn't the nicest experience. But it's a job that has to be done, and it's a job that has to be done, and has to be done for the public's safety first, and for the public's convenience at most. So let me know what you think and subscribe more, and bye.